JF Stretford, Paddock. This is the Spurs preview, and joining me are two of my favourite co-hosts. We've got Adam McCullough.
I do.
You all right?
All right.
Good. And also Joe Smith.
How are you doing?
I'm all right, other than the insult you just giving me off camera.
That makes it sound terrible, doesn't
Well,
it?
it was racist. But anyway, let's move on.
I called him Jason Mustardhead instead of Justin Mottershead. And then I called him Daddy Dijon.
Look at him panicking.
Look at him panicking. Hey, you're not so big now the cameras are rolling, are you? Hey.
There's some people that probably get bullied like this in their workplace, isn't it? This is how the minorities turn it on people.
Yeah, man, we're fighting back. Talking of fighting back, Manchester United need to fight back from our Derby Day defeats. And we've got a big game against Spurs. Some would argue, Joe, a must-win game.
Well, yeah. If the aim for the season is still theoretically top four, because you can't give up on it, can you? I know it's very unlikely, but we have to win this. Obviously, I think Tottenham can go ahead of us if they win it. It's Arsenal really United need to catch, because if we're behind Tottenham, we're probably going to be behind Arsenal as well. But you have to start winning games. And also, you think about what comes after this. It's Atletico midweek. Even if you just want some short-term confidence, a little boost, we need to pick up 3 points. If you heading into that Atletico game with 2 back-to-back losses and then say, right, don't lose to Atletico Madrid, I don't think we'll manage that. I think we have to win this game for multiple reasons.
I remember ahead of the last Spurs game, you were saying, or Joe was saying, Maka, that Spurs are almost ideal in the sense that they're very beatable, but they're a big team and they're a team that you can get a lot of confidence from beating. Do you look at them like that now? Do you think they are a beatable team? Because they've just won 5-0 to Everton, but there are faults there. They're in the league position they're in for a reason.
I do. I get what you mean. Like when I was looking at because we did originally have City, Spurs, Liverpool, I looked at it and thought we'll probably get 3 out of 9 points there.
And that's
that
just
was
the Spurs win and lose the other
But
team.
then, I also thought we'd beat Watford.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't think we can necessarily go into this game thinking that anymore, because we're not really playing well. Conceding goals. We're not really scoring many of our chances. Spurs at the moment, obviously on the back of a 5-0 win, but then I think they've lost 4 or 5 out of their last 7.
Yeah.
So their form's a bit shaky as well. But then I think there was a stat shown on Sky yesterday that when they get more than a 4-day break, they usually win their games. And when you look at their performances in the bigger games, they've usually been better than them. So there's a little bit of it that makes me think, But I don't think at the same time, I don't think we'll be naive enough to leave Son and Kane so much space as we have seen with other teams in terms of pressing forward and just leaving them open.
I hope you're right. I'm already dreading.
I can't have that. You know what? I've got a real agenda against Son and Kane. I think it was that game at Tottenham's ground where Son went down pretending he got punched in his face, crying and then he started crying after the game, crying when he gets sent off, crying when Spurs lose. He's just that absolute
cries when they win, cries when they lose.
Cries
all the time.
Son is a fantastic player. I wouldn't want him at Man United. You know why?
Not in this team.
Because he's just a crybaby, bro. Yeah. United would lose. You go in the dressing room. Guess who's crying again?
Yeah.
Son.
This team isn't strong enough to have him in it. You could put him in a bigger, stronger team that might be able to build him up a bit. But in this, they'd all be crying and just upset, going home, driving home.
Instead of getting the apology tweets, you just get pictures of him crying, which is
just
even
just
worse.
tear emojis as a tweet instead.
That'd be even worse.
And a pool of tears.
One player who's been a bit of a hot topic for all the wrong reasons recently, and we'll get to your predicted 11s in a minute, but before we do, has been Edinson Cavani. Mac, I'll start with you because I can already see you fuming, so we may as well just get it out of the way.
I ain't fuming. It's just like when you roll your eyes.
How are you? Are you disappointed, annoyed, what? Because with Edinson Cavani, being injured is one thing, and I get it, he's 34. We know he had a bad injury record in recent years when we signed him, but we're hearing stories not stories, Marv Rangnick coming out and saying he trained for 3 days and then said he wasn't fit for the derby. When you hear things like that, when I heard that, I was a bit annoyed, to be honest.
I think it epitomises the culture at the club. I think a lot of the things at the moment epitomise what's wrong with the club, and everything from the top to the bottom. The fact that you've got a player like Edinson Cavani that we practically beg to stay, we're giving him 200 grand a week, and he doesn't really turn up because he can't be asked. And I don't want to hear about he's managing himself, bruv. He doesn't play. I'd understand if he played 1 game a week or something like that, or you took him in and took him out of the team. The guy doesn't turn up. What do you want to do with that? One of your best midfielders in Paul Pogba, is he going to be here next season? The fact that we've allowed that to manifest, it says a lot about the culture of the club. I look around, Harry Maguire's your captain. It says a lot about what's wrong with Man United at the moment. And this is just another one of those things where I don't think it's the problem at Man United. I don't think we can blame everything on Edinson Cavani. You probably can't blame anything on him. But the fact that This guy turns up when he wants. You know, it just stinks. And I hear people singing his name every week, and I just think, no, I can't be asked to get involved with this.
It's got more chance than appearances.
It goes both
honestly.
ways, that, doesn't it, as well? Like, he is a symptom of the problem, but also people doing things like that are what makes that problem in the first place. Like, getting rid of Maguire wouldn't fix everything, or, sorting Pogba's situation, or Lingard's, or Cavani's, or Ronaldo's wouldn't fix everything. But all of them together is the type of big problem that actually fucks us up for multiple seasons. So it's like you said, I think he's missed 80% of the available minutes this season.
And also, he's not going to play for us next season.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So
we've got a manager
point?
that I actually think, personally, I feel like Rangnick's done a decent job with what he's had to do. I know you could argue some managers might have got different results here and there. That's fine. I don't think he's the best manager in the world. But considering the fact, when you look around, I love him, but Jesse Lingard's not going to be here next season. I love him. Paul Pogba probably not going to be here next season. Cavani's not going to be here next season. There's some players we don't want to be here next season. So then when you look around the whole squad, you're thinking, what the fuck is going... Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so then if you are Cavani, you can just think...
What's the point?
There is an
What
element.
if I get injured and I can't sign for whoever I want to sign for?
There is an element of this was all very predictable. Like, he was a free agent with his goal scoring record for a reason. He was a free agent right up until transfer deadline day almost, because we couldn't even get him in time for we didn't even get him in time for the Newcastle game. Do you know what I mean? Now, why, when goal scorers are such a short commodity, why was one of the most prolific goal scorers in Europe over the last 10 years available on a free? Because of his injury record. Everyone knew his wages and injury record. It was a big gamble, and we took a gamble. And for me, even though I like him and I agree with what you say, Maka, it's not really paid off, especially this season, where he's just like, we can't rely on him at all. I mean, missing 80% of your games, missing a quarter of your games or half your games is annoying, but 80% is just ridiculous. But anyway, with that all in mind, give us your predicted 11, Joe. I'll start with you.
I just want to say, how confusing is Cavani, though? Because when he plays, it's like he'd die for you.
It's like every time, like with Cavani, every time you have a step forward, we have another step back.
It's like his play style is so intense and so aggressive. He's like, unless I'm 100%, I can't give you that.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'll give you
in an
nothing.
ideal scenario, right, we'd have enough availability from other strikers where you could go, okay, we'll bring you out for the Atletico game. Yeah. And we'll bring you out for, the Spurs game or whatever.
But then the other problem this season is...
But we haven't got that luxury.
When he has played, he's only scored 2 goals. Yeah. I know he's only played 15 times, but it's still not a great return. Like, no, it's not. He's not such a specialist at the height of his powers where you can put him on thinking, even in 20 minutes, he's got a 50-50 chance of getting you a goal. That's not the case anymore. No. So...
He does bring other things with goals, but you are right. That's not a good enough record. And it's the sort of record that we use to beat other players with. Yeah.
You've also gone from a front line of... And look, no matter what you thought of the individuals in there or whether you think they were good enough or whatnot, you've gone from Sancho, potentially Rashford, I know Greenwood and the reasons why he's not there, but Greenwood, Marshall, etc. These are players that are looking towards the future, looking to build something constantly. So even when they're playing badly, they're still probably coming into the next game with, all right, we need to get better. Now you've gone to Cavani, Ronaldo, 2 players at the back end of their careers. Yeah. One of them's definitely not here next season. One of them's, overplayed and probably doesn't want to be here. It's like, with the whole dynamic of the team change.
It has, I think it was like 3 years ago, whatever it was, 2 years ago, we were sat here talking about our front three had 60 goals between them, and they were all under the age of 25, and now we were going to be set. And now there's a chance that none of them will ever play for United in the next few seasons, because even Rashford, who you think is at United for life, is talk of him going.
I love Rashford as well, but bruv, them briefs need to stop.
I know, that's got me, especially the day after Derby Day, when you were getting it, you think, come on, man, what is going on here? Right, with all that in mind, Joe, give us your predicted 11 for the visit of Spurs.
Yeah, I think we'll get De Gea. I'm hopeful Dalot comes back in. I think Wan-Bissaka didn't put a foot right against City. I'm
so glad that sentence ended the way it did. Yeah. I thought a minute you'd lost the plot.
No, he couldn't do anything.
No,
it was one of those performances.
It was
like
he's having one.
Mistakes. I couldn't think of a good.
Pep made the right decision to put Foden on him rather than Sterling, because he's good against Sterling.
He's too smart and tricky for him, and not as direct as Sterling. So
the one thing that rattled my head the most was when Foden weighted him.
No, that's.
Did you see that?
inexcusable.
Oh, ran up behind him and choked him on the
Bro,
floor.
I wanted to
Yeah.
fight everyone.
Yeah,
like,
that was
bro,
pathetic.
how is that? Like Foden, amazing player.
Yeah, but
Shouldn't
he's
be weighting a
5'5".
defender off the ball.
He's 5'5".
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
He's
whatever
not
I
he
think
is.
he
that
did
guy,
it to
is it?
Maguire as well at one point.
He did, yeah, but at least Maguire didn't fly
But
through
you know
the
what I
air
mean?
like
Like,
Wan
it's
Bissaka.
like-
Yeah, no, it's just a work rate thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it'll be Lindelof and Varane, although Varane's got COVID, but I think with the week schedule, he should be back in time now.
We'll find out.
Yeah, hopefully recovers quickly and is available. Then I've gone for Tellez on the left.
Yeah.
I just don't think Luke Shaw's shown us anything this season that he should be playing ahead of Tellez. I don't think Tellez is great, but Shaw's been woeful. Then I've gone McTominay, Pogba, and Bruno midfield.
Yeah.
I just think that's been our most successful midfield since the start of the season, basically. Makes most chances, concedes the least chances. And then I've gone for Elanga, Ronaldo, and Sancho up front as the front three. Again, Rashford's just not good enough to play at the minute.
We are recording this before we know the full team news. We've not had Ralph Rangnick's press conference, so we might, in case of Ronaldo or players like that, certain other players, like you said with the COVID situation with Varane, we haven't had an update, but if those players are available, that's who you think Ralph Rangnick
I think it's
will
our
pick.
best team.
Do you think we're almost in a position now where the City game was that bad, everyone was bad, that you can't even judge certain players off it because it's just like we were all rubbish?
Yeah.
No.
Because,
we should
like-
judge players off that.
Because somebody's keeping his place. I thought he had a stinker.
He did, but
Against,
Fred has stinkers every week.
Maguire,
Matic, maybe
yeah.
Matic, but again, I'm thinking he might
Yeah.
get some minutes against Atletico. I don't think he'll play 2 games in 3 days or 2 games in 4 days.
Yeah.
I just think McTominay is a little bit better than Fred and
There
seems
were
to
reports
work better
that
with Pogba and
Rangnick
Bruno.
rates McTominay.
Yeah.
I don't know how true those reports. I don't know how true any reports are at the minute, but that
Yeah.
was the sort of stories we were hearing. Maka, give us your predicted 11. The team that you think Rangnick will pick for this game.
David De Gea in goal.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're right. Delo comes back in. I think he picks Maguire. I wouldn't, but I think he does. I'd rather see Varane Lindelof. I think we see Maguire and Varane, or Maguire and Lindelof, depending on whether Varane's available. Then Tellez. Whilst I don't think Delo and Tellez are that good, I think they give us a bit more than the other two are giving us.
completely with that.
In midfield, McTominay or Fred.
Go on, push. Go. If I had to push you, do you think?
You know what? When you said Matic, I actually thought might be a good choice for against. But then you're right. I thought he changed the game against Atletico when he came in. But would you start him against Atletico?
Yeah,
Like, you know what I
probably
mean?
not.
Probably not. So I'd go Matic, Pogba, Bruno. I don't think Pogba or Bruno were any good either against Spurs, you know what I mean? But, I mean, Pogba set up the goal and Bruno is always going to play like that, isn't he? And then Elanga, Sancho, and Ronnie, but...
Says it. I mean,
Not very
it does
inspiring,
say
is
it
it?
all out. The way you're struggling and like the faces you pull in there. It
The
just
only
looks
ones
like
that
you're
deserve to play
deflated there.
are Sancho and Elanga.
Yeah.
They're the only players that actually deserve to play.
I think
Maybe De Gea.
I wouldn't say deserves it because he's been great, but I don't think Tellez was that bad against City. I know he looked a bit ping pong in the box occasionally, but
And when you compare him to Luke Shaw,
wasn't
then he
taking
probably
the
does
piss.
This is
deserve
what I
it.
mean. The bar's so low at the minute.
It's
It's
incredible,
like
isn't
who
it?
wasn't
When you
completely
look-
terrible.
But you know what's going to happen?
and
Sorry
even-
to cut you there.
City, man.
You know what's going to happen? I tried to have this debate on the kickoff the other day where they were talking about Pogba, and it always gets tired when we talk about Pogba. And they were comparing him to De Bruyne. And I know I sound mad when I say this, but I said to them, if you were to swap Pogba and De Bruyne, the result on the weekend is still exactly the same.
Yeah.
United still get bad. And I'm starting to feel like Jadon Sancho at the minute is our one shining light. But I feel like in 12 months, we could be then going, oh, is Jadon Sancho any good? Like, do we need to... And it's like, Jadon Sancho ain't the problem. It's like everything that's around him. I think we just drag players down.
think
bro.
you might be right.
I seriously do.
Pogba,
And we're
with
going to do
Rashford,
it.
with
We're going to do
Sancho.
it to... We've done it to Rashford.
Maguire.
We're going to do it to Elanga. We're going to do it to Sancho. We need to
See how you
stop...
slip that one in.
We need to stop this, like...
I agree.
ASAP, and that's
it's
why
very
getting the next
worrying,
manager
Especially
right.
Ronaldo,
especially
Like, yeah,
with younger players as well.
Yeah.
Because you worry, don't you? You know, is Elanga going to become broken and become not a figure of hate, but be ridiculed, whatever?
Because there's so many players that are average to good players that can play for very good teams. Whereas we've got average to good players that look awful. Like, no one is playing above their ability. They're playing to it or below it.
It's like when we signed Lindelof, like I bet you any money he signs for City, he's fucking looking like Diaz right now. Do you know
Or
what I mean?
Laporte,
It's like,
yeah.
and if we sign Diaz is fucking
Wasn't it-
shit.
were they at
It's-
Benfica?
like Maguire just slow and shit.
Wasn't it like they at Benfica together, Diaz and Lindelof?
I don't know if they played together. They're both
playing
like,
there
but
at the same
Lindelof
time.
was rated.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
higher than Diaz was at one point. It's like Lindelof. I remember
I think
we
he
had
needs
Jamie
to get
Jackson
a
on.
skinhead again, innit?
Yeah, and we were
Yeah.
like, he's mint. And everyone was like, he's mint. And then now it's like, I don't think he's been one of our worst players this season. by
No,
any
but
stretch.
he
I think
got
he's.
pants to the weekend.
I know I stuck up for him, and then
Yeah.
it was
You know,
like,
you know how bad it's got when
commentator's
McTominay did a
curse.
good interview and everyone's saying give him captaincy.
He
Jesus
did a good
Christ.
interview. I know.
Who's
Anyway,
your starting 11, Jay?
yeah, I agree with a lot of what you guys have said. I'll go with David De Gea. I'll go with Telles. I think he'll stick with Maguire, and I think he might stick with Maguire and Lindelof. I
Yeah.
think even if Varane is back from his COVID, I think he might have been affected by it, so he might give him another week. Diogo Dalot, and then in midfield, again, it's because I just think we lack of options we've got. I'll go with McTominay. I mean, personally, I'd start Matic against Atletico. I would. I thought he was very good when he came on in Madrid, and I thought he did a decent job against Watford. And
I did
Watford.
as well.
But I just think
Stop them making any
McTominay and
chances.
Fred have just not been at the races at all recently. But I think he'll go with McTominay, Pogba, and Bruno. I think up the front three as well. I think he's going to play Rashford. I think Ralph Rangnick, for me, I think he's a little bit, and people might disagree and get involved in the comments. I think there's an element of people pleasing to him. People think he's hard and tough. I don't know if he is. Like, he's had these little spats with players. And for me, he's almost backed down a little bit. He had that little spat with Lingard, and he seems to, Lingard keeps getting games. I know he doesn't start, but he's playing. He had that spat with Martial, where he accused Martial of saying one thing, and Martial said, I didn't say that. Or, wasn't available for the Villa game, and he said, I didn't say that. And then Rangnick said, maybe it's a miscommunication. And I just wonder with Rashford sort of, throwing his toys out the pram a little bit, whether he'll start him now, whether he'll go, okay then. Because I get that, I don't know. I get that little bit of a
But
vibe
yeah,
from Rangnick.
I think Rashford, I love him, but bro, there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
And save that for when you score a hat trick.
No, I'm with you.
Because when you stink the joint out in a Manchester derby, you come on as a sub, you don't show any energy, any enthusiasm, anything. Like how can you then come out and say I'm worried about my England spot? Like, fuck that, bruv. Worry about your Man United spot, because right now you wouldn't get into our 23s.
Especially the phrasing of it as well. It wasn't like I'm unhappy here or there's problems that I want to get away from. It was
Like,
literally
fuck
like
England. What happened to
I'm
United being
bemused.
first?
I think the word was bemused about not playing.
Because
Like,
that
angry
doesn't
and
make
confused.
sense. You know what
that-
the annoying thing is as well? Like, he postponed his surgery, didn't he, to go to the Euros?
Yeah.
Which didn't do him any good, didn't do Manchester United any good. Now it's like there seems to be a bit of, he's not happy because his England place must be.
I don't like this new gen,
But it's like,
putting England first and that.
Brian Robson used to play
Those are quite good
week in,
again.
week out, no matter how injured he was for Manchester United, if he could. And there was times when England needed him. And Bobby Robson, I remember a story about Bobby Robson got Ron Atkinson and saying, "Can you rest him? Because he's still recovering from an injury." And Ron Atkinson was like, "No." And Brian Robson was like, "No, I'm playing." Do you know what I mean? That's the attitude you want to see from, your Manchester United players, whether it's your captain or not, or someone who's come through the academy who knows how important these games are and what they mean. He's not performing to the levels he should be, but I think Rangnick will just put him back in the team because he's had a bit of a kick-off. I do. Ronaldo, I think he comes back in. I'm sceptical of how serious this hip injury was in the first place. I think he's back in. Jadon Sancho.
Ronaldo's hips don't lie, Jay.
Nice. I said that the other day.
Oh,
And
fuck
I got
off.
an equally enthusiastic
Equally
response.
glib response.
Yeah.
I thought
That's
it
the
was
look I
good
got.
that.
I think Jadon Sancho is our only shining light, as Mac has just said. So Elanga drops to the bench, not from anything.
And in a year, we'll all be hating him.
And to be
Yeah.
fair to Elanga,
Yeah.
he shouldn't have to play every game.
There'll be clip compilations of mistakes he's made doing the rounds on Twitter as people go, "State of our club,
Yeah.
state of this guy." Get involved in the comments and let us know if you agree with any of our starting 11s or who your starting 11 would be. Looking at Spurs, I mean, they've got their act together at just the wrong time for Manchester United. They beat City, and then a couple of games later.
They're losing.
They're
between
losing.
like
They're
Burnley
doing
and
full.
Middlesbrough.
Do you remember that season where they went almost a
Yeah.
full season without drawing? They're back to that.
Okay.
They're
Well,
drawing.
when I say they've got their act
only losing or
together,
winning.
they battered a poor Everton side 5-0.
And they beat City.
Last time they were in Manchester, they beat City, which, as we all know, isn't easy. So, yes, they're not completely got their act together. They've been very Spursy.
Yeah.
But this is a slightly better Spurs than usual.
And
can
for
we still
Conte, they
say?
look good against the
Can
big
we
teams.
still say? What was it, lads? It's Spurs.
Yeah.
Or are they a bit too good?
Yeah,
for
but
that?
people also say, lads, it's United.
It's United.
Yeah.
Lads, you're up against Maguire. Don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean?
Maguire versus Kane, Jesus Christ.
Are you worried, Joe?
He's
Maguire
gonna-
versus Kane?
Oh, he's gonna have him
or
spat.
I wouldn't say I'm
Son,
worried
Son
Maguire versus
versus who would it be?
Son versus Shaw.
Below, no, Son
Goes across the full line, doesn't
Son
it?
versus any of our fullbacks.
Son versus anyone to worry about. Obviously, Maguire's a great striker. Maguire's not a great striker. Harry Kane is.
Yeah.
But he's not had a good year.
That's
though,
the problem.
That is.
He scored that goal.
Played him out of position.
Training for England, and everyone's like, "Play him up front," because he did a little chop and put it in the top corner. Kane's a great striker, but people, because he's had a good game against Everton and a good game against City, and basically fuck all else all season except the Europa Conference. People are going, "Why can't we call him the best striker in Europe?" Because he's not. Because he's had a shit season. He's got like 6 Premier League goals.
Got
Whatever
9
it is.
Premier League goals.
Yeah.
Same as Ronaldo.
Yeah, and Ronaldo's had a shit season in the league. Like, he has. The only thing that's keeping Ronaldo going is 6 in 6 in the Champions League. But he's not at the top level. He's not at the level he's been at just because he plays good in big games.
But what if we give him the space?
Oh, he'll score.
Like Everton, because Everton went for it, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they got teared
Silly
apart.
idiots.
Like, I
Imagine
expect
going
us
for
to
it.
be on the front foot a bit, but not as ridiculous as that. Also, if Rafael Varane's fit, don't worry about that.
Right, okay.
And I think Kane's only got 1 goal against United, hasn't he? Or is it 2?
This thing, yeah, I heard on the radio the other
I'm
day.
not sure. To be honest with you.
After
We'll
the
find out
City
last
game,
time.
people were talking shit about Rafael Varane. And I was thinking, he's had a few bad games, but 80% of the time, he's the only, he's defending and everyone looks shit around him. Like,
Yeah.
I find it weird, like, how some people, because Maguire's under the cosh, they'll go, and Varane. Like, don't bring Varane into this
People
mess.
just want to point the finger at the one
Don't
that no
bring
one else
Varane
has
into
seen,
this
don't
mess.
they?
Yeah, it's,
You know what I
that's
mean?
what
He's
you do.
made
You always
some
get that.
mistakes. I think some people say he's been nothing but perfect.
Oh,
He
no,
has.
no. I said
but he's been our best
80%
centre-back
of the
this
time
season.
has been...
It can't be easy for him
Yeah,
as well.
he's just missing too many
Some of the
games.
players he's got around him. You know, look at the lack of protection he's got in front of him. Look at some of the lack.
He used
of
to play
command
with
in him.
Ramos.
Do you know what I mean?
A man that
Casemiro,
had character.
Modric.
This is what I mean. Come on.
And now he's next to fucking soppy bollocks. Do you know what I mean?
It's not like my granddad. That's a soppy bollocks.
It's game over, isn't it? We're fucked.
It is. Do you know what I mean?
You don't laugh, cry.
You have to.
I just cried.
With all that in mind, give us a score prediction. Lighten the mood even further.
Me?
Yeah, go on.
Fucking 2-1 United. Get in! 2-1! And they can fuck off and all. Their goal's going to be an own goal.
You know, I'm not what's
Harry
annoying.
Kane won't have a
is
shot on target.
Real Ferdinand comes out this week, and we have no reason to disbelieve him. And he says that players are complaining that he's ripping, like, not even just saying they're rubbish. Is this where it come to?
I want to know, is Roy Keane getting the same messages?
Message.
Is anyone, seriously, is anyone dropping Roy Keane an Instagram message going,
me
Roy, you
tell
said
Rio
some
this.
nasty
Can you
things
leave us
about
alone,
me?
please?
Yeah.
Next time it happens, print screen, tweet. Because you need to tell these guys not to be messaging you bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason Rio's saying something.
Yeah.
He's
I
not
mean,
going to call you.
Rio, you can tell, cares about Manchester United Football Club. He's a
I
fan.
mean, he lumbered us with Ronaldo, so...
Can't care that much, can it?
and he's
Martial
I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says, right? And I said it at the time, I'll say it again. If Ronaldo came to United and didn't score any goals, I don't care. I just didn't want to go to say it. Seriously, it takes them memories
'Cause you
from
know
me.
he'd
And
score
all I've
fucking
got
loads
at the
for
minute
that.
is memories.
You
would've
know
been
he'd
mint
score
for it.
loads. He'd been
Yeah.
amazing.
So I'm not even bothered. I don't blame you.
Like
for
those
that.
2 tap-ins that De Bruyne scored. You don't think that's Ronaldo if he decided?
Of course it is.
He'd have had 50 tap-ins already
Yeah.
this season.
Like he would have been having chances
We
put on a
fucked
plate
ourselves, but
constantly.
we fucked them as well.
That's it, man. So I'm happy.
Jesus
I'm happy he
Christ.
didn't go there.
Yeah.
Go on. You're saying 2-1 United.
2-1 United.
Mako.
1-0 United.
Clean
I wish
sheet.
I shared your confidence.
I'm not confident.
6-0 Tottenham.
I'm going to go 1-0. I think this stinks of a deflating 1-0 draw that
I think if
overends our top 4 challenge. Going into the Atletico Madrid game with our tails down before losing that as
I
well.
pray
going
to
out
God
Europe
we don't get Europa or
and then
Europa Conference.
folding the club.
This is the mustard man talking again, isn't it? Ditching this team at the last minute. Jason Mustard head over here.
Listen, I'm the guy that comes on here all the time giving it 4-0s and 5-0s.
Daddy
and
Dijon.
Daddy
It
Dijon.
never happens. Listen, I hope I'm wrong, but I think it'll just be like, it'll be 1-0 and it'll be like a Harry Kane penalty inspired by a Stuart Atwell VAR decision. Even if he's not on it, I don't care.
Oh, God.
Right.
God.
You know where to find Adam McCauley. You know where to find Joe Smith. You know where to find me as well. We'll be here for the Spurs game. We'll have a watch line. We'll have a reaction from Maka as well. So make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. This has been the Spurs preview.
Go United!
Thanks for watching.
We're going to win, actually.
We're fucking not winning.
I don't think we are.